right, good morning. So we're going to start off with the problem of the day. What is the relationship between X and Y in the chart below? Yesterday we talked all about relationship, and rule just means the same thing as a relationship. So I want you to tell me from 1 to 7, 2 to 14, 3 to 21, 4 to 28. What is that rule? And remember, we talked about more than means to add, times means multiply. And then if it was less than, it would mean subtract, and half would mean divide. So figure out what the rule is here and tell me the rule. All right, so our title is Numerical Patterns in the Real World. We're talking about the same standards. We're going to make numerical patterns using two given rules, and we're going to graph points in the first quadrant of our coordinate plane. Your learning targets are: I can investigate line graphs to determine x and y coordinate values, and I can determine patterns and relationships between ordered pairs. All right, turn to page 61 in your math binder. All right, at the top, it reads Lily, the pastry chef at Sweetie Pie Bakery, was experimenting with her muffin recipe. She noticed that depending on the type of sweetener she used, there was a slight change in baking times to bake perfectly moist muffins. When using sugar, each batch of muffins required 10 minutes cooking time. When using honey, each batch required the full 10 minutes and an additional 1 minute, no matter how many total batches Lily baked. Help Lily figure out how much time is required to bake batches of muffins at her bakery. Then graph the results. All right, so we're going to complete this chart on page 61 still, okay? So the rule for sugar. So remember, go look at the rule for sugar. Each batch required 10 minutes cooking time. So if we have 0 batches, we can't cook any. So that's just going to be 0. All right. Next, one batch. Each batch is 10 minutes. So that would be 10 total minutes. So you're filling this chart out as I'm going through it with you. 2 batches, so that's 10 and 10, so that makes 20. 3 batches, 30. 4 batches, 40. 5 batches, 50. All right. Then over here, you're going to make your ordered pairs like we did yesterday. X is batch of muffins, so that's 0, comma 0. Remember what 0, comma 0 is? It's the origin. All right. Next ordered pair is 1, comma 10. If you want to challenge yourself to finish this out and then stop, play the video after, so you can pause it and then play and see if you get the rest of them correct. Next is 220. Next is 3, comma 30. Next is 4, comma 40. And last on that one is 5, comma 50. All right. So the rule for sugar, what do we say the rule for sugar was? So each batch required 10 minutes. Each batch of muffins required 10 minutes. So 1 equals 10. So the rule for that, if you look here, 1 to 10, 2 to 20, 3 to 30, am I adding? Am I multiplying? Am I dividing? And am I subtracting? Think about 1 to 10, 2 to 20. All right. If you have figured it out, you are multiplying. So y equals 10 times x. So the y is going to equal 10 times the x value. So 1 times 10 is 10, 2 times 10 is 20, 3 times 10 is 30, 4 times 10 is 40, 5 times 10 is 50. All right, let's go back and read for honey. Always go back and read just to make sure you get them right. So it says, when using honey, each batch of muffins required the full 10 minutes and an additional 1 minute, no matter how many total batches Lily baked. All right, so 0 and 0 is the same. You can't, but then they say an additional 1 minute. So 0, you can't really cook anything if you have 0 batches. All right, so 0 starts at 0. So now one batch equals 10 minutes. You need the full 10 minutes, but it says an additional 1. So 10 plus an additional, add 1. So that should make 11. All right. Two batches, you got 10, 20, and then the additional 1 is 21. Three batches is 30, and then the additional 1. All right. 41 and 51. All right. So now you're going to make your ordered pairs. 0, 0, our origin. Remember, if you want to fill it out and then check it after, you can pause the video and then play it and see how if you filled it out correctly. All right, so 1 comma 11, 2 comma 21, 3 comma 31, 4 comma 41, 5 comma 51. All right, so that's filled. All right, so now the rule. Remember last time the rule was y equals 10 times x. So this one, we got 10 minutes and an additional 1. So y equals, so 1 to 11. If I said equals 11 times x, is that going to work all the time? 1 times 11 is 11, yeah, but 2 times 11 is 22, so no, that doesn't work. So we got to put y equals 10 again, because 10 times x. It's not just 10 times x, because that would be 10. Then you got to add 1, so plus 1. So we're going to move this over. That plus 1 is always there. So 1 times 10 plus 1. 2 times 10 is 20 plus 1. 3 times 10 is 30 plus 1. 4 times 10 is 40 plus 1. All right. So now you need to graph the ordered pairs that you have up here. And your graph should look like this, okay? They're very close because they're only, you see, 1 away. So they should be very close to each other like this. And then you're going to answer the questions on page 62. Remember, anytime you have a question, raise your hand. Make sure your graph is numbered like this. You got 1s at the bottom, 10s on the side, all right? Label total number of muffin batches, total minutes of cooking time. Tell me what you notice. And then if she wanted to make 20 batches, can you predict the cooking time? All right. So we went all the way. If we look at the rule, if she wanted to make 20, the rule is 10 times x. So 10 times 20 equals what? And then that's for sugar. Then honey is 10 times x plus 1. All right. So see if you can answer those. All right. Then you're going to page 63 to fill this out. Brown sugar shake up. After collecting and graphing the data, Lily was curious about using brown sugar as a sweetener. After a few baking experiments, she discovered that muffins with brown sugar required 10 minutes per batch and then an additional 3 minutes in the industrial size oven. Help her figure out the time for muffins with brown sugar. Write a rule for brown sugar. So this sounds just like honey. Remember, honey said an additional 1 minute. All right. So we're going to go here, and so this one doesn't say no matter what. So we got to be careful on this one. So, but I think it's implied that it's 3 minutes no matter what. All right. So we still got our zero. Then we got 1 times 10 plus the additional 3. So that's 13. 2 times 10, 23, 33, 43, 53. All right. And you're going to make your ordered pairs 0, 0, 1, 13, 2, 23, 3, 33, 4, 43, and 5, 53. All right. So remember the rule is just like the honey, but it's 3 instead of. So y equals 10 times x plus that 3 minutes instead of 1. All right. Then when you finish, graph it. Now you should have that on the same. Go back to page 62 to graph brown sugar, and you should have a new line going up a little more for brown sugar. So go ahead and do that, and it should look like that. Independent practices on your own. Do page 65 in your math binder. Um, if you need help, raise your hand, and if you finish, you can help a classmate out. And then, or if you finish, you can work on your homework. All right. Any questions throughout the math, just raise your hand and I will come around to you. All right. Work hard.